Hey, it's Theo and thank you for joining me for my second set of reviews for the mini set of Ungoro, the Day of Rebirth. Today we will be looking at the cards for Death Knight and Druid, and as always my reviews will be in 1 minute or less. So let's not waste any time and start with the first Death Knight card, which is Soul Rest Ceremony, a 1 mana shadow spell. Give your minions +1 attack and rush. They die at the end of your turn. So this card is a bit like the Broom from Skullman's, which gave all your minions rush, but this one gives them also +1 attack. And yeah, your minions also die at the end of your turn. So yeah, you can't play this card in all your decks because yeah, if you build a board and you play this, yeah, you don't want to have a big board that then just dies because you play this, right? That would be pretty horrible. So you want to play this for some synergy. Probably some death rattles would be great with this. For example, maybe a Stegodon card, which sometimes is a bit slow. But with this one, you have an immediate impact or some other death rattles. And while I did say it's not great with a board, of course, if you have 2 of these, and with hero power is basically a Savage War, so there can be a bunch of burst. This can give rush to minions that you just summon from like death rattles or reborn. So that can be good, and it's very cheap. And outside of that, I think it can be a solid card that can pop up in a few decks. So we're giving this card 3 stars. Now let's go to the second card for Death Knight, which is the Hollow Diehorn. A 5 mana 5/4 undead beast. Rush. After a friendly minion dies, spend 3 corpses to gain a reborn. So by itself, 5 mana 5/4 rush. Not the greatest card, not a card I would put in my deck. If you trade a minion and use the 3 corpses, you get the 5/1 back with rush, which is alright. And then yeah, if you keep having more minions that die, it's going to be pretty solid. Especially with rush, you can keep trading and trading. You could even have 2 of these on the board and you can basically clear the whole board as long as you have the corpses. But then again, what do you play it in? Because yeah, you do need those minions on board already. Although you can also hero power, but that's a little bit slow, or that's a little bit expensive. This card does feel a little bit clunky because you do need to have other minions. You do need the opponent to have some board. Although again, even if the opponent doesn't have board, it can be somewhat annoying to deal with the reborn. Because if you don't clear it immediately, it's basically always going to get reborn. So I think this card can see a little bit of play, although I'm not sure what deck it goes into right now. So I'll be giving this card 2 stars. Then let's go to the last Death Knight card, which is the Story of Umbra. A 7 mana, discover a Death Rattle minion that costs 5 or more, summon it and trigger its Death Rattle. Now this card feels kind of similar to the neutral legendary we got, because they're both 7 mana and they both feel like a huge gamble on what you can get. Like obviously there are some good big death rattles you can get, right? Especially if some other died, you can get like Awaken of Souls, which can be incredibly strong. But yeah, there's also some bad death rattle cards as an options, right? Like an Octozari, probably not what you want. And some other cards that are kind of weak, like Cairn or the hand buff Undead card if you don't have Undead. And then you know, you're not left with a lot of good options. And then yeah, to spend 7 mana on maybe getting something good. Yeah, nowadays I don't think you can afford to spend 7 mana on a maybe good card. So yeah, I don't think this will be seeing play, so I'll be giving it 1 star. And let's move on to Druid, starting with the Long Neck Egg. A 2 mana 0/2 Death Rattle, summon a 1/2 beast, give your minions +1/+1. This is some token support for Druid, and yeah, they kind of needed it because the token deck or even the quest deck, right, for Druid, they're not doing too well. All we see is other Druid decks, and this card can definitely help a bit with those decks. This is a minion with the Death Rattle, so 2 minions in 1, and then you get a 2/3 beast out of it, and then you buff the rest of your board when it dies, and yeah, that's kind of what token Druid wants, right? You get a sticky minion, and then also a buff in the same card. But of course, yeah, it does need to die to get that buff, but there's some cards in Druid, right, like the card that kills your own minion that summons a minion of the same cost can work with this. Or you can just buff this minion and then trade it. And this just seems like a solid card for Token Druid overall. That's the only deck it will see play in. I think it will be good in just that deck, so I'll be giving it 3 stars. The next card for Druid we have here is the Panther's Mask. A 4 mana, set a minion's stats to 5/4 and give it stealth. Draw 2 cards. Now this is basically the Twilight Runner. Though now, yeah, you instantly get the card draw and it's only 4 mana. So yeah, that seems like a pretty powerful effect, right? 4 mana, draw 2 cards, and set a minion to 5/4, and then give it stealth. Though yeah, it does require you to have a minion on board. I mean, you can't just play it in any like low Druid deck, for example, right? Because you'll need those small minions that you don't have in that deck. And what you can also do with this card is put it on a big minion from the opponent, and then basically reduce its stat to 5/4, and you still draw 2 cards. So yeah, it seems like a good card, right? Draw 2 and buff a minion. Though I'm not really sure what it goes into. That's the main problem. Like I feel like none of the current Druid decks want to play it. I'm not sure this goes quite to like a token aggressive deck because they rather go white, have multiple minions to buff than just one card. But still, this just seems like a solid card that at some point has to see play somewhere. So I'll be giving this card 3 stars. Then we have Seismopod, a 9 mana 9/9 beast, taunt, elusive. Death Rattle, give all minions in your hand and deck +3/+3. And I have no idea what this card goes into. This is way too late for like an aggressive deck, right? That runs a lot of small minions, which is where this kind of buff is the best. And yeah, you also don't really cheat it out early, right? Low, I don't think this fits in a low deck. So yeah, what do you want to do with this? Like, I just don't see what deck this goes into. We used to have this effect on a neutral, the newbie stuff, and it only saw play, I think, in one deck, which was Death Rattle Rogue, because they could cheat it out by like turn 4 or 5. And yeah, that was the only reason it was good, because stats also mattered a lot more then. And now in Druid, yeah, this card just doesn't seem to be worth running. Yeah, that's taunt, it has elusive, so it can be annoying to deal with. I mean, the minions in your deck and hand get buffed, but yeah, I just don't see any deck you want to be playing this in. And it costs 9 mana, just way too slow, and I'll be giving this card 1 star. Now, that's all the cards for Death Knight and Druid. Of course, more cards to come today and tomorrow, so stay tuned on the channel and make sure to subscribe. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and until next time.